Today I'm showing you how to make a half hexagon, because when you make these full hexagons and sew them together to make a blanket, you obviously have a gap, and the half hexagon is what fills that gap. So I'll be using my H hook and my smaller F hook. I start with my magic circle, bring it around my finger to make that X. I go under the top and grab that, chain 2. And then 2 double crochets. That will be one side, and then I chain 2. 2 more double crochets for the second side, chain 2, and 2 double crochets for the third and final side. Pull that magic circle tight, and then I chain 2 for the half hexagon. This isn't made in rounds, so we will turn and work back along this way. This chain 2 counts as a stitch. So you double crochet in the 2 double crochets on that side, and then 1 in the gap, chain 2, it is very similar to making the hexagon. Double check that you have 4. I do. Chain 2. This side is a little trickier. The only difference, but something you need to be very aware of. This is the biggest part that gave me trouble when I was learning. So if you double crochet in the 2 on that side, including the 1 in the gap, you'll only have 3. Because when you are making a hexagon, you increase by chain or double crocheting in each gap on the side. On the half hexagon, you don't have that extra gap. So on the end where you don't chain 2, because the chain 2 counts as a double crochet, you will always increase on the last stitch. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way around. So chain 2, that counts as a stitch, turn and crochet along, following the same pattern you would for a hexagon. So you can see, counting the chain 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have the right amount of stitches for that side. And you continue over. Here you need to double crochet between the chain 2 and this one. If you count that, it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the side where we increase on the edge. Like the hexagon, it's very important to make sure that you are counting to make sure you have the same amount on each side. See our double or half hexagon? Okay, for the next part, when you're finished with the size you want, I use the smaller hook and I single crochet across this edge because without it, it's just a little bit rough. And I like that nice finished edge. The smaller size hook just helps keep it pretty tight because we don't want to make it too bulky or else it will make a rounded edge when you sew it onto the blanket. It always seems to work for me to just do one single crochet in each side of the double crochets there, and then I slip stitch to that last row, and that's where I would fasten off. It makes it look just a tiny bit wonky, but when you sew it on, it stretches it out and makes it nice and flat. And you'll sew that on just like you would a regular hexagon.